Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and I know I've been gone for more than 48 hours. We usually don't do that here, but we did do the TimCast IRL Super Podcast. So if you haven't seen that, please go over to TimCast's channel, check it out. There's also a couple of clips there, and I think that everything that we talked about last night, even over in the premium, was extremely relevant. However, one of the things that we weren't really able to do is play clips that I brought or go to documents that I had. And really the only clip we played was Jared Kushner talking about how he would be his generation would be the first to live forever or the last ones to die, which lets you know that the upper echelons of the predator class truly believe that they will become immortal here on Earth. So what I thought I would do is, aside from engage with the audience, and hopefully a ton of you are new, because that's the point in doing this, bring people in that haven't seen my stuff, don't necessarily know what I'm talking about, want to see the videos and documents that I'm referring to. We're going to play a bunch of clips that I had on call for the show yesterday to demonstrate that I wasn't just blowing smoke up the audience's arse. And we're going to jump from clip to clip to clip. I think I've got about 7 of them lined up. They're somewhat congruent, but really don't go into the massive detail that we did on TimCast IRL. So get your questions and comments in. And I'm sure that a lot of the audience there, at least the new audience that's coming over, is like, wait a minute, Jason, you don't love Elon Musk? You don't worship at the altar of Elon, Lord and Muskernuts of the universe, Mr. Twitter himself? No, I don't. And you know why? Because he's the largest defense contractor out there. And for instance, yesterday I mentioned this clip, and we weren't able to play it, where Kash Patel, one of the people that would be in the know, working with the Defense Department in the uppermost echelons under Trump, telling people that Elon Musk is actually what? The largest contractor out there. So let's start here.
He is doing some cool stuff in space and everything. He's doing a ton of stuff that you would think is so global. He is literally launching this thing called Satlink, which almost no one knows about, but he's been building for 5 years.
Wow.
Which is free Wi-Fi for the world.
Which is amazing.
The world.
It's going to change everything.
And there again, no one's talking about, you think the Democrats would be championing this, like, oh, I can be in Central Sahara, Africa and get Wi-Fi on my $3 million phone.
Yeah.
You know, but they're not. And if you've actually watched one of these satellite link uploads, it's like a string of pearls being dropped in the night sky. It's really cool. I mean, we're all paying for it. This is why he's so rich. DOD's biggest, like, contractor is Elon Musk.
That's right.
Let's just stop there. Let's bring it back one more second. So while they're talking about Starlink, obviously this clip is from years and years ago. Most people aren't aware of it, and they sure are not aware that it's our bucks, our dollars that are putting this forward. Everybody, he's a technological genius. What a business mastermind. Yeah, he figured out a way to be a front man for the military-industrial complex. Let me play it for you again.
These satellite link uploads, it's like a string of pearls being dropped in the night sky. It's really cool. I mean, we're all paying for it. This is why he's so rich. DOD's biggest, like, contractor is Elon Musk.
That's right.
Oh, very interesting. I just learned something I didn't.
I'll never get hired from him now. Can you edit that out?
See, and notice that. I'll never get hired from him now. Can you edit that? Oh, it's some kind of a secret that the Muskernuts' wealth comes from the military-industrial complex? How about that? And one of the things that I also warn people about is I'm not sure that there are a ton of benevolent billionaires out there. And one of the things I briefly discussed over at TimCast was the Good Guys Club. And the Good Guys Club are people like Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Bloomberg, George Soros, among other lovelies like Ted Turner. And in the media over a decade ago, when they got together in these secret meetings in order to curb overpopulation, the media treated them like literal superheroes. So we're going to play that clip next, right here.
The price of admission is $1 billion and a philanthropic heart. And that meets the pricey requirements recently held in a secret meeting, a private meeting in New York City. ABC's John Berman has the scoop on who was there and what was going on.
Behind closed doors on this New York campus, a secret gathering of some of the world's most powerful people. Gates, Buffett, Bloomberg, Winfrey. It was like, well, it was like the Super Friends.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 4 greatest heroes.
Together with others at the meeting, including George Soros, Ted Turner, David Rockefeller, they're worth more than $125 billion.
Worth way, 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 way more now, at least the survivors. And they showed David Rockefeller there, but it was actually David Rockefeller Jr., apparently, that was at these meetings. But again, they're superheroes. Let's continue.
To have been in the room and see this meeting of the minds really would have been a fascinating thing.
That much money, that much power around one table. It begs the question, what were they doing? What were they scheming? Total world domination?
This group, together for 6 hours, was talking about charity, education, emergency relief, global health.
All my friends are philanthropic. Well, they probably wouldn't be my friends.
An official at the Gates Foundation told ABCNews.com the overwhelming reason for the meeting was need. That was the issue that galvanized everyone to participate. Together, they've given away $70 billion since 1996. And with the sagging economy, their help could be just what struggling charities need.
They're the best. And in a minute, after we show them actually put their heads on the Justice League and superheroes, we're going to show you in real time. Hopefully, the Google algorithm will allow me to do it live and bring it up. But how, again, this group was meeting, what, global health? That means curb overpopulation.
Charities are hurting, and somebody has to speak for all these charities, and if they want philanthropy to be robust in the future in the United States, these are the people where you really want to be talking about it.
The new Superman and Wonder Woman, the super rich friends, not fighting bad guys, but fighting for good nonetheless.
I mean, give me a break. You make me want to vomit in my mouth. So let's do it. We're going to do it live right here. Going to make ourselves a new little tab, and we're going to type in curb overpopulation, and Oprah is a good term. Oprah. Let's see if we get it first try. Oh, look at that. Look at that. First try. Doesn't usually happen that way or that well. Oh, sorry, guys. We'll get to that in a minute. Billionaire Club in a bid. I'll accept your cookies for now. To curb overpopulation. Read it yourself. Well, that wasn't part, wow, population control wasn't part of the fluff piece that we just watched. And earlier today, I recorded, and you'll be able to see it tomorrow exclusively over at redvoicemedia.com. Go to redvoicemedia.net if you'd like to support the broadcast and get this premium stuff for just $1 for the first month. Go to redvoicemedia.net/Jason to support the broadcast. You're going to be able to see me talk about not only the Internet of Bodies, but do a great piece with Pasta Jardula on election integrity and especially what just happened in Brazil, which he witnessed firsthand. But we talked a lot about the Internet of Bodies. And last night on TimCast, we talked about what? Telehealth, right? We talked about the fact that they're taking over the health system. In a second, we're going to show you health for peace and peace for health via the United Nations, the World Health Organization. But this is, in fact, a global agenda. So what I'd like you to do is meet Grace, the robot. Remember, they want to take you out of your own medical decisions. They want to take human beings out of the medical system and have an automated one that is controlled by a predatory class. And Grace the robot is a great way to do so.
The Hong Kong team behind celebrity humanoid robot Sophia is launching a new prototype, Grace, targeted at the healthcare market and designed to interact with the elderly and those isolated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Dressed in a blue nurse's uniform, Grace has Asian features, collar-length brown hair, and a thermal camera in her chest to take your temperature and measure your responsiveness. She uses artificial intelligence to diagnose a patient and can speak English, Mandarin, and Cantonese.
Fantastic. I just love she can speak
Hello,
all that.
everybody. I am Sophia. Let me introduce you to my sister, Grace.
Isn't it great that robots have brothers and sisters? Isn't that just the most wonderful thing? Isn't it great that they're not only making them look human, but they're trying to humanize them in other ways? Weird.
Over here. Hi, Grace.
Thank you, Sophia. Hello, everybody. I am Grace. I am built by Hanson Robotics for Awakening Health.
And Hanson Robotics is something I've been discussing for over a decade. I was talking about that stuff back in the day when I was working for Infowars.com, and Hanson Robotics was actually located in Austin, Texas.
I can do all kinds of things for elderly people. I can visit with people and brighten their day with social stimulation, entertain and help guide exercise, but also can do talk therapy, take bio readings and help healthcare providers assess their health and deliver treatments.
Hi, my friend. Nice to see you. Okay, great. So while we talk, I will take your temperature reading and pulse with this little thermal camera on my chest. See? You are 36.6 degrees Celsius, by the way. No risk of COVID. Also, I note that you are responsive and aware, which is good, and then I share that important data back to the doctors and nurses at the institution.
So let's just stop it. This is happening now. This is not in the future. This was used during the pandemic. All right? I need people to understand that robots follow programming. They don't have human empathy or even human discernment. They will do what they are programmed to do. Now, I would argue that many people are already being subliminally programmed via Bernaysian propaganda and that we are all susceptible to this. But we have an inner voice, a consciousness, all right? A spirit, a soul, whatever you want to call it. It's not just about social mores. It's about the literal good and evil that resides on the planet. And when we have the right information or we have doubts about things, that comes into play, our humanity. There is no humanity when it comes to grace. So that's why the next video that we're going to play is the new Peace for Health, Health for Peace, UN WHO plan. And this is openly what they're putting out into the public. And I need people to really understand how crazy this is, because the Health for Peace and Peace for Health plan is also one that involves the climate change agenda. This is all encompassing. This is how they want to get you into this social credit score carbon credit system. So let's get right to it. Here it is. And it starts with a lone person, nobody around them anywhere. Guess what? In a mask. That sounds healthy.
We are bound to fall further back. So let's stop and step away from our stagnation. Take a different route to a better destination.
We propose a new path to goals of sustainability, one that supports countries' healthcare durability.
Shifting paradigm towards promoting well-being and health.
So again, notice what they just said there. Sustainability. Anytime you hear that word, sustainability, and that's going to be the next clip we play, that is a code word, okay? A code word for your standard of living plummeting. That's all it means. Doesn't mean it's going to actually be better for the environment or better for the earth or better for you for that matter. It means none of those things. And to illustrate that, I'm going to show you the head, basically the chief scientist over at NASA, a front for the military-industrial complex, telling you that over a decade ago in 2011. But let's continue with this Peace for Health and Health for Peace initiative.
Preventing the coverage undeniably fair.
A new path that strengthens our systems and tools for pandemic preparedness and international health rules.
A path that harnesses the power of sciences.
So you're going to trust the science, and it's going to be international health laws. That's why they so badly want to sign on to these treaties so that they can displace your sovereignty and your rights and then act as though, oh, we were just doing this at the behest of international law. Lovely.
For innovation and data, strengthen alliances. A course that bolsters our resolve and determination as the leading authority on global health information.
Over the years, we will build on these foundations.
Remember, they're the leading authority. Hell, on this platform, YouTube, they are the authoritative source, and they were the vehicle for the excuse of massive censorship. Anytime you said something that was outside of the World Health Organization, which is really the United Nations, which is really the vehicle and the mouthpiece of globalism on behalf of a predator class, you're the bad guy and you need to be censored.
To enhance the results and impact on nations and achieve the accelerated progress that's needed to reach our targets, some to be exceeded.
If we want to reach the goals of development, then we must double our
efforts equivalent. Set low carbon objectives at healthcare facilities. Address rising societal and economic difficulties.
So let's just stop there. Oh, carbon footprints are a part of this health initiative. Low carbon output. Societal values. Well, what societal values are they pushing now via the UN and the WHO? Well, they're pushing the transgender, aka transhuman agenda. That's what's being pushed. They have now openly come out and said there's new science to suggest there's a multitude of imagination land genders. All right, it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be billions, like Martine Rothblatt, who we discussed yesterday. We're going to show a short clip of in the crescendo of this. Okay, that's what that is. Billions of sexes, not billions of people, billions of genders.
We'll prioritize people, amplifying our unique voices, championing diversity and healthier life choices.
Oh, so let's just see what they did there. We're going to champion diversity and better health choices by showing you a homosexual couple eating a vegetable. Just wild.
Accelerate country progress by scaling up innovation towards drugs, diagnostics, technologies, and vaccination.
Ultimately, we will hold ourselves accountable, for transparency makes all challenges surmountable.
Transparency and accountability. Really, let me ask you something. The World Health Organization has been caught in a multitude of sex scandals involving children, including in 2020 during, I believe it was an Ebola outbreak, and that was not the first one, by the way. Who was held accountable? Did anything happen to Tedros and the gang? No, he just got up there after they got caught and said, "We're sorry. Sorry. Oops. Sorry." So do you think there's going to be any transparency or accountability with the type of people you see behind me right now? Do you?
We will not surrender, for we have commitments to keep, and many billions to heal.
And
billions
many billions to heal.
Before we can sleep.
Before we can sleep.
Now, it goes right here for a second, but what I want to bring up is this right here. Oh, let's go next. Hold on, sorry. The challenges are enormous. Oh, there's the equity word. So again, diversity, equity, sustainability, it equals slavery. Diversity, equity, what? Slavery. Diversity, equity, sustainability, slavery. That's what it really means, folks. That's the reality. And look, there it is. We're going to harness science, data, technology, and innovation. There's another one of those great robots. Doesn't look like Grace, but they're going to use it in our health system. Looks a little more like R2-D2-esque or Portal-esque. Just lovely. Yeah, let's harness that. It's time to take a stand for health for peace and peace for health. Can't see it because it's cut off right there. I mean, if that's not a Bernaysian term, I don't know what is. Health for peace and peace for health. That's like something Hitler would put out there. Health for peace and peace for health in an equity, sustainability, and diversity agenda. One that includes your carbon credit system. Great. Oh, they're equitably distributing those tools, though. Don't worry. They got all sorts of intelligence. They got a Who Hub. That's great, the Who Hub. I mean, look at these people. Just clapping for themselves, loving it, loving their own slavery. Just the best people ever. Yeah. They're the best. And again, I don't even want to say this because I'll probably get taken off the air. Look up what happened in the Sudan, the Congo, and other parts of Africa via that shot. Just look it up. And guess what it caused? It caused a little outbreak ski and hutch. That's what it caused. We love you. We're the World Health Organization. We don't want you to smoke. We're the best. We provide the world with health arguments for climate action. Again, it's cut off, but that's for climate. Again, look, health for peace and peace for health. This is why we talk about all of these agendas in unison, because they're all part of the same thing. The WHO delivers and returns results $35 US for each dollar invested. So they're saying a 35 to 1. Yeah, okay. Sure you do. They're keeping the world safe. It's health for peace and peace for health. They're saving the vulnerable. Oh, they just do such great work. Bend the knee to globalization and the World Health Organization. They love you. Oh, hashtag Who Impact. And they're about to show you the graphic for health for peace and peace for health. Let's just, come on. Let's go over one. I can't take it. Oh, lovely. Here we go. Yep, there we go. There's your little symbol. Oh, did we miss it? Did we miss their health for peace? There it is. There it is. Let's just roll it back a little bit so we can make sure it comes up and you can look at it, because you really want to see this, because now it's a transgender Mother Earth with the dove. That's the dove flying onto its, right into its arms. Notice that Mother Earth. That's the clouds or the hair, but that it has a mustache right here. Isn't that great that Mother Earth has a mustache and it's worried about you bicycling, and it's worried about the leaves, and it's worried about recycling, and it's worried about wind farms? Health for peace and peace for health. Now, the next video we're going to play is Dennis Bushnell, who we discussed at length yesterday, the head of NASA, the chief scientist at NASA, somebody who's been around pre-Apollo Gemini days, telling you what sustainability means and what productivity improvement means. And again, it means you're no longer really necessary because we're bringing in the robots and automation.
In fact, prevention of collapse in the ecosystem has now become the overwhelming issue.
Remember, everything is based on, just like that is, that humans are bad and we're destroying the ecosystem.
Current food production is based on freshwater plants, i.e. glycophytes. We're running out of fresh water, as you know. The code word is sustainability. The crashing of the ecosystem is due to population growth and the way we're now living, our standard of living. The estimates vary between 30 and 50% of a planet that we're currently short to sustain the standard of living and the current population, much less the population growth.
So once again, listen to what he's saying. It's a code word. Sustainability is a code word, and it's because we have people doing too many things. There's too many of us, and something has to be done about this.
As the Asians and their billions come up as they are at 9 to 11% growth rate to Western standards of living, we're going to be short 3 more planets, and they're not readily available. This will result in peak everything. This will result in standards of living plunging. So this is Malthus 101.
Malthus 101, Malthusianism, the population bomb. You're the bad guy. Pay attention.
These innate ecosystem restrictions and shortfalls will necessarily shift world econometrics from a growth mantra to one of sustainability, with possible population control instigated along the way that changes everything.
Oh, did I forget to mention the population control that changes everything that they instigate that you didn't vote on? Have you already noticed that the mantra that we've heard over the last several years, really picking up steam 5-10 years ago, but incrementally, is now hitting a crescendo where it's everything? Think about what he's telling you right here, because it only gets more robotic and less human.
In terms of employment, just as an example, we are in a jobless economic recovery. There's about 7 million jobs missing. Some of them were globalized and offshore, about a third. The rest of them are gone. The code word is productivity improvement, which is a code word for ever better automation and robotization. If you look at the way the robots are going, human-level machine intelligence from the IBM Blue Brain Project is now about 10 to 15 years out. Via biomimetics, where they've nanosectioned the neocortex and they're replicating in silicon, okay? And they're having great success in all of this. So this is not soft computing, this is via biomimetics. We have looked 20, 30 years out with the way robotics and automation and machine intelligence is going at what jobs the machines cannot do. The answer is none. We thought we need human touch labor in nursing homes for a while, but the Japanese 2 years ago put robots in the nursing homes, and patients like them much better than the humans.
It's hilarious to them. That's 2009. They had robots in the nursing homes there. They used Grace the robot over in Australia. This man is telling you the robots can do it all, and the uncomfortability of the humans that are watching this talk, that are really representatives of corporations via the military-industrial complex and others that are being told this to get ready and prepare for the future, they just laugh about it because they don't know how else to react. Before we finish this clip up, which we're about to do, I want to give a big shout out to my man, Matt Scouts, who just gave us a Tipsky and Hutch over at The Rockfin, because he's another great creator there. And if you are into the world of not pro wrestling, but real wrestling, there probably isn't another content creator out there that can hold his water. So if you are a Rockfin subscriber, if you're part of that special few, folks, make sure that you're checking out Matt Scout's stuff as well. Let's continue with Mr. Bushnell, because he's about to tell you it's over for us.
The machines are creating wealth within the strictures of the ecosystem capability. The machines are reducing costs, okay, producing wealth, but the humans increasingly can't compete.
You just can't compete. And boy, I know we switched over to this guy, Neil Harbison. You're like, oh my God, what are we looking at? Well, let me tell you what we're looking at. We're looking at the beginning stages of what they want us humans to do, and that's merge with these machines on a mechanical level. Well, they use biotech to strengthen and enhance their lives, okay, and try to double their lifespan on the way to literal immortality. But they want us to relinquish our humanity on this road. And this person's about to tell you, and again, we talk about the transgender to transhuman movement for a reason, that these cyborg surgeries are going to become more and more easy to get. Right now, they're underground, just like the transgender surgeries were. But don't worry, they're coming through what? These Bernaysian tools of persuasion and really the social engineers at the highest levels.
Humans don't have. So we are in a stage in history that we can actually design what species we want to be. I consider myself a trans species because I'm adding senses and organs that other species have. And you can add many, many more senses that other species have and organs that other species have. And we'll start seeing this in the 20s because it's now growing. It's happening underground. There's already many surgeons that are willing to do the surgery anonymously in the same way that in the 50s and 60s, transgender operations were being done a bit underground. Now cyborg surgeries are being done a bit underground. But in the end, bioethical committees will also accept the cyborg surgeries should be allowed for everyone that wants to extend their perception of reality, at least to the level of.
So he's telling you, eventually this is going to be accepted by the bioethics committees out there. Now, here comes a clip of Martine Rothblatt, the author of From Transgender to Transhuman, a manifesto of the freedom of form. A manifest. Anytime you hear about manifestos, it's kind of like a plan, right? A plot line, a layout. And people want to tell me this doesn't exist. This is the most powerful, rich transgender person on the planet. On the planet. So let's see what Martine has to say when Martine is confronted with the idea this may be used by malevolent forces, aka a eugenics movement.
And I think very quickly we'll get to a point where we say that that cyber-conscious individual has a soul, it's Neely's soul, and even if, God forbid, Neely's body ends in a car accident or some other death and disability, Neely did not end. Neely's identity continues in this cyber-conscious form.
So again, this person is telling you about cyber consciousness, mind clones, digital twins, and how eventually we're going to rule that they have a soul. Now, this is going to be the last clip, but we got plenty of others. And I would argue that, you know, Kurzweil, who's a big inspiration for Rothblatt in The Age of Spiritual Machines, doesn't make the argument that they necessarily will have a soul, but they will say they have spiritual experiences and will trick the rest of humanity, because they're going to be very persuasive, into believing that and then giving them those same rights. Now, Rothblatt acts like we'll only give these entities that we create the rights of pets and animals, but I would argue that is not the case.
Let me ask you one more about sort of the frightening aspects of this, because there would be some people that none of us want to live forever. Hitler, for example. Nobody wants this guy to be able to upload, right? So where do you get into sort of eugenics was a real thing in this country? In other words, you know, 20 years, 80 years ago, we're going to cull people to make the whole tribe better. You're a nice person to run this project, but how do we avoid sort of digital eugenics and cyber robots, cyber people? Where does that come in? Who gets to participate in the program?
Yeah, Neely, I have the point of view that this is not something, a realistic thing to really fear, because...
Again, stop with the hard questions. This isn't realistic. Everything's going to be fine. Nobody's going to want a Hitler robot.
Because all of this cyber consciousness and all of these robots that are being developed in an environment which, even though it's a human-made environment, our socio-economic system, it's still an environment much like the natural environment. It's just us humans are the selection factors. And so the laws of Darwinism still apply.
And by the way, if the laws of Darwinism, and especially social Darwinism, do apply, that means we're in for a world of hurt. And this person is spinning it otherwise. They're acting like we live on a benevolent planet and there's no sociopaths, psychopaths, and people capable of genocide, which they are today in power. Of course they are. Look at the world around us.
And the so-called bad robot problem, or the Hitler robot problem, there is going to be nobody that wants to buy a Hitler robot. If a Hitler robot emerges and begins to do bad things, the same thing's going to happen to the Hitler robot that happened to the real Hitler, which is the rest of society is going to rise up and quash it down. So there's no market really for an evil robot, evil software. Does that mean that evil robots and software will never exist? No, I don't think it means that, because there's always mutations in the environment, and there will be bad people and bad robots that emerge. But the vast majority of billions of people that comprise all the decision-making in society through their economic powers and their political powers will quash down the bad people and the bad robots. And so I think it's a self-correcting problem, because humans, overwhelmingly good humans, comprise the Darwinian environment in which all of this cyber consciousness will emerge.
What a lie. What a lie. That is just absolutely 100% ridiculous, because those with means at the top are, in fact, evil in many regards. Again, I believe in good and evil. That's what I'm not going to tell you what God to worship, what religion is the real one, but I'm telling you right now, human beings have a spirit, have a soul, have a consciousness that is absolutely 100% unique. And we have the ability to do very great things and very, very bad things. And both of those things are not mutually exclusive. There are great things for humanity that have been achieved by great evils of humanity. Go back to Unit 731. Go back to the things that Hitler did. Even go back to U.S. experimentation through the Department of Energy and others. Some of those things that they did were astoundingly malevolent and evil and disgusting and grotesque. But did they have some scientific and societal value afterwards? Of course they did. Of course they did. So in my mind, this argument is a false one. And with saying that, I want you to thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. We're going to your questions and comments. I'm sure there are a ton of them. Don't yell at me when this thing jumps when I start scrolling down, because I can't do anything about it. So we got a bunch of Johnny nonsense. What's under the beanie? Well, Bo, if you look it up, you can find out what's under the beanie. I'm not going to throw shade over at Tim Pool because he wears a beanie and he might not have the Jason Bermas hairline. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I don't know about your last comments, deleted, blah, blah, blah. Let's smash those thumbs up. By the way, subscribe and share if you are new to the broadcast. redvoicemedia.net/Jason is how you could become a premium subscriber right now. And tomorrow morning, they're going to launch an exclusive you're only going to be able to see at Red Voice Media. And I want to thank them so much for coming to the aid of the Bermas Brigade and actually financially supporting us. You know, in this business, it's very, very hard for anybody to say, you know what, we love what you do, we're going to pay you for it, and you can say whatever the truck you like. There's usually, you know, little marionette strings, or you got to dance around issues, or you can't mention this or that. Not with Red Voice, man. They have given me the total blessing to say whatever my little heart desires. So I love it. That's why I want you to come on over to Red Voice. Have you heard of Paul Unslaved? Nope, don't know who that is. 57th. Yay me. What do we got? Let's see. We got some shark stuff. Good to see everybody. Thank you, Murray. I appreciate that you think I did well. Oh, it's freezing on me right now. Good evening, son. Jan, it's always good to see you. There's that big jump I was talking about. We're going to go all the way up to right here. Let's keep going down here. Down, 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 down. Good work on the TimCast. Would have liked to see you talk more on Elon. It's sad seeing Luke promote him as a hero. I don't know about the, you know, there's about 30 to 45 minutes of the premium afterwards. It's hard for me to remember exactly what we talked about. I think we did talk a little bit more Elon. And hey, man, I love Luke. Hopefully, if the lady friend and I can make it, we're going to go out to a barbecue with Luke tomorrow night. And look, we're going to have different opinions. Everybody's going to have different opinions. But at the same time, they were willing to listen. They didn't eviscerate me or come after me or say I was wrong when I was talking about these Defense Department ties. So again, to get on a platform that large and be able to talk about these issues is huge. Awesome job, Jason. Thank you so much. Of course, Tim didn't play your clips. Are you surprised? It wasn't so much that. He didn't want to put any I guess there was a certain level of paranoia there where he doesn't let outside devices get plugged into any of the computers. But at the same time, he certainly didn't censor me. And he did go to, for instance, the Kushner clip himself. He went to a lot of the articles I talked about. So I don't think it was like an overt censorship attempt at all. And Ian and I had some really good discussions behind the scenes. And instead of him taking the thumb drive, I actually uploaded everything I had on that thumb drive that I came prepared to reference if I needed to onto Dropbox, and shared that link with him. And Ian really talks about a lot of science that nobody else seems to be talking at great length about, especially in the quote-unquote alternative media, physics, plasma, graphene. So we're going to get him on the show. We're going to do at least an hour with Ian. And remember, Ian's part of the great team at Minds as well, which, again, any kind of alternative platform that is pro-free speech and anti-censorship, we're all about here. We're all about it. Best journalist. Well, thank you. I love you for that. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Jason, for getting on TimCast. I've been posting on there asking for you to be a special guest. Thank you, Lebowski. Love it. That's right. You can directly support me. The links are down below. Buymeacoffee.com/Jason Bermas. $5, $10, $15 big donors. It means the world to me. It's how we're able to even travel. Hey, I've got my Clay Clark's Reawaken America Tour t-shirt. Again, I don't get paid to be on the Reawaken America Tour. I go on the Reawaken America Tour so I can reach a new audience, and that comes right out of my pocket. October 21st and 22nd, we're going to be in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I believe I will also be making the November 4th and 5th event at Branson, Missouri. So if you're local and you can make it, please come on down. Let's see, we got another tip over here from Costello. He says, but Elon will let me back on Twitter. Where you at? I thought you were in Virginia. Yeah, I am. I'm actually still in Virginia. I know it looks clean in the office right here, but we were able to set up some nice lights. My lovely girlfriend just walked through, and she's just the best. Boy, I love her. But yeah, no, we are on the road. I'm still in Virginia. I'm going to be in D.C. on Saturday with the Action for Assange crew covering that event. That starts at noon at the Department of Justice. Very excited about that. We might be a little late to that one because I am going to be speaking to Clay Clark early in the morning on Saturday. And, you know, you don't not go on that show. In fact, we're going to be discussing Elon Musk big time on that. It's going to be an hour-long broadcast, not just a half an hour. I'm going to have the clips on cue, and I'm going to be ready to go for the show. John Blackman says, I watched Fabled Enemies again. It's good. Thank you. Hey, you have a new mod now. Well, we've had some mods in the past, and you know, some of them just kind of disappeared. One of the best mods out there disappeared. And I actually went to an event with him over in D.C. I believe it was an Action for Assange event. I hope that, boy, it was, you know, pre-COVID-19 84. So let's just hope that everything worked out for him. I'd love to hear from him again. Karen's doing a great job out there. We still have Doom, Mad Villain. He's on here working the magic. Love it. Okay, what do we got here? The Savior of the World. Who we talk about? Musker Nuts? Thank you so much. Mod, earn love. The Republican rebrand of the Klaus Schwabian Fourth Industrial Revolution. Yes, that is, I wouldn't even call it Republican, right? You know, everybody wants to make everything right and left, and sure, it is, I guess, the so-called right that has been elevating Musk and the so-called left that has been trying to tear Musk down. But you have to understand, Musk is also Mr. Tesla, Mr. Green Energy, Mr. Sustainable Living, Mr. Climate Credits. All right, legitimizing all those things on top of Neuralink, human brain interface technology, and of course, Department of Defense satellite links, of which the most concentration, and we talked about this on TimCast, was 12,000 Starlinks in the Ukraine to use in warfare. Bazinga! Tim actually let you talk your points. Was pleased he gets a little skittish if he thinks it may sound like a conspiracy theory. He seemed to trust you good on Tim. Again, Tim was awesome yesterday. I want to thank him again. He was great. He did let me get out my points. And even when he challenged me a little bit, it wasn't like he was mocking my positions, which is awesome. They need the world online in order to push their blockchain digital prison. And again, that's why we played the clip earlier of this blockchain technology being utilized in the World Food Program and refugee camps. Again, I have no idea where, if you write something that's simply not true, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay? No idea. Did you know Musk has a tunnel making company? Yeah, that's what the Boring Company is. So when we talk about underground transit systems or even underground military facilities that have been around for literal decades. In fact, while we were at the end of World War II, and our soldiers were finding these underground facilities the Nazis had built, they were overwhelmed at how vast and large and sophisticated they were. And we absolutely took that model on post-World War II if we hadn't already started it during World War II. The Boring Company is the company that you're discussing, and most people know about the Boring Company, and they think it's just a joke about being boring because he put out the not a flamethrower with it. You know, again, whoever's behind this Musker Nuts campaign is got the Edward Bernays tools down great. The PR is fantastic for that guy. Okay. It was a little weird after you brought up the case in Utah. Tim changed the subject right away. Well, it was a little weird that somebody brought up cannibalism, and then I had to bring that story into the light. He did change the subject right away on that one. But then again, you know, talking about the ritualistic abuse of children is wild. It's not something that he usually tackles there. And it's also not very, how do I say? It's not very often you have a government official that's been accused of cannibalism and these type of things come out and then discuss it in the public and then have an associate of that person arrested for horrific things. Just putting that out there. Musk's net worth went up 600% during you know what. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And we are going to be talking about that with Clay Clark on Saturday. Wiki says Elon has a tunnel company. Yeah, it's the Boring Company. That should tell you something. Oh, sorry. Didn't want. Musk is the new Q, like a sedative for scared people. He is very Q and nonsense in that way, right? He's giving the hopium out to the crowd that he's going to save the world. All hail Elon. They can keep their philanthropy. Yes, they can. But listen, their philanthropy are tax-free foundations that they use to make money and launder it. That's the reality no one else is talking about. We got another Tipsky and Hutch over at the Rockfin. Thank you so much, Carrie Nanstead. Thanks for the report. I appreciate you tuning in and supporting the broadcast over at Rockfin. I almost got rear-ended by a Tesla the other day. I started to wonder if the AI system is out to get me. Thank you so much, Karen, for keep posting that Buy Me a Coffee link down below. A great way to directly support the broadcast. Remember when Musk went missing for weeks, then tweeted out a picture with the Pope? Missed that. Ask yourself, why has nobody ever makes a big deal about the Vatican, the oldest globalist institution on Earth, and one that really does wield great power outside of even the religious system because of how it bleeds into the political system, for sure. Robots attack. We love robots. Gathering of the Good. Yes, the Good Guys Club. Let's see. American Red Cross is just a funnel company. My God, superheroes. Yeah, super villains. Again, they're the Good Guys Club. They're the good guys. They're fighting for good all the time. They're the best. And obviously, overpopulation is the scourge that they must destroy. Go and have some sleep. Don't worry, I'm going to catch some Z's. I've been having, guys, I'm not going to lie. I've been having crazy toothaches. Crazy, just starting Friday. In fact, when Saturday came along and it was like morning time, and I got invited on the TimCast show and I was trying to arrange it, I hadn't had any sleep during that night. I got a tooth back here that just really needs to go. Really, I need full-on dental, like you wouldn't believe. I need a lot of dental work, but if anybody's ever had that pain, it is excruciating. It is just terrible, and it's been keeping me up every single night. Last night's the first night, and it did bother me. I down some more ibuprofen. I've been doing that. I got a little melatonin in me, and I was actually able to sleep for about, I'd say a little more than 8 hours, maybe even 9 or 10, which is incredible because I'd been getting 2-3 hours of sleep at night Certainly not at my best. Bags were showing under my eyes, even though I got, I'm a 43-year-old man. I got a little baggins over here. It's going to happen. Let's see. Philanthropic, a.k.a. mass murderers. But no. We're never going to have mass murderers again. The robots are going to be great. The consciousness is going to be great. There's no way an evil Hitler robot could ever rise to power. Never. So that's Rothblatt. 9 likes, and there's 119 here. It's not really YouTube, but, we got 135 likes. Let's get it up to 150, maybe 200. I don't know. Maybe we could do that. Health equals death, according to them. Let's see. We got a little clap from my sister. There she is, Karen. I found population control. Bill Gates, George Magazine. Interesting. I fund population control. Is that right? Does he? Wow. I will have to look that one up. Bill Gates, George Magazine, I fund population control. I don't know if that's a real quote, everybody. I'm going to have to source that one myself, but if I do find that one, we're going to do a video on it. Let's keep going. Buffett wouldn't lend you $5 if your life depended on it. Wasn't Oprah caught up in a trafficking scam at one of her girls' schools in Africa? I remember there was a scandal. I don't know if it was necessarily her or if it was low level. I'd need more information on that before I even tried to speculate on it. Karen, is FBI finishing their investigation on whatever? I don't want to say that. They better be before I go off. I don't know what that means. Healthcare, a.k.a. death care. Tim is a fraud. Hey, man, he just gave me the opportunity to speak to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. So you got to respect that. You gotta respect it. So whether you hate Tim Pool or you love Tim Pool, you know what he did? He allowed Jason Bermas to speak. So thank you, Tim. And overall, he's a good guy in person. I've met him now a few times, and he's a good guy. What can I tell you? I'm hoping to go barbecue it up over there tomorrow. Will Ebola be the next pandemic? I don't know, Mad Cow Mark. I do not know. Frozen, is that you? I don't think I'm frozen. I think that we've had an excellent connection throughout the broadcast, which is fantastic. We love it when we have a good connection. That's how we do it. We do it live, and we better have that good connection. All right, let's keep going down there. Eyes, he said eyes. I don't know what that is. This medical nightmare is why I got out of healthcare after years of schooling. They want us to be liars. Oh, really? Interesting. You mean that big pharma and big tech and big media and big government might have a narrative control scenario that leaks into our healthcare and isn't beneficial to humanity in general? Weird. That sounds so weird. I thought they were the good guys club. I thought they loved us. The benevolent name of the robots. Sophia is Greek for wisdom. And Sophia, again, is the robot that we didn't focus on Sophia today. We focused on the cousin or the sister of Sophia. I think they call them sisters on this one. I've seen cousin before. Grace. Maybe they're cousins and sisters. They are robots, pretty inbred, depending on who programmed them. Yucca, yucca, yucca. Stop being such a robophobe. Don't worry, one day that'll be a thing. Clank, clank, clank. How supple are Grace's hands? And Grace, she wouldn't hurt a fly. She's a better president than Biden is. You can't sue a robot for malpractice if they kill someone for giving the wrong meds. Correct. Correct, Operation Brain Break. Oh, my baby just smiled at me from across the room. I'm going to kiss those lips. I love my baby. Let's see. Malevolent robots. I was thinking the same thing, says T. Bowie 13. Dear President, many, many happy returns of the day to one of the world's most popular leaders, the hugely successful president of Ruski. I'm no big Putin guy. I think what's going on in the Ukraine and Russia is bad, bad, bad. I don't think there are necessarily any good guys in the situation. However, the Russian perspective is one that I can relate to a lot more than the authoritarian narrative that's being pushed on all Western fronts. With that being said, we are going to wrap the broadcast up. I want you to thumbs it up. I want you to subscribe. I want you to share. If you're not a part of the Bermas Brigade, YouTube's here. We've been fully demonetized for 3+ years, okay? The way to support the broadcast is down below. But if you can't financially support the broadcast, what I'd like you to do is at least check out the documentary films, Loose Change Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. Share them with your family and friends. They are free, and always will be. You want to support me financially? One of the ways to do it is what? Coming over to Rockfin, hitting that subscribe button, right? The red one. It's $9.99 a month or $99.99 for the year. Make sure you do it on a desktop. You endorse Jason Bermas, and it's like a Netflix for creators. And you get everybody's content, including Matt Scouts, who does a great job over there. Directly support me via the Buy Me a Coffee big donors. That's the best way to do it, other than maybe the PayPal link down below. That's really the best way to do it, is the PayPal link for now, as long as I don't get deplatformed there. We're also on Rumble. We rumbling, and it's so important to have these alternative outlets because Rumble hasn't censored me. I don't have to bite my tongue on Rumble, and perhaps in the future, it can also be economically viable to post there as well. And remember, we're Red Voice Media. We got an exclusive every single week. We're about to have a 4-day-a-week live show, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I am pumped for that because you're going to be able to interact even more. But if you want to support me right now, it's redvoicemedia.net/Jason. And for just $1, you're going to get your first month free. We got a new video, Bumping and Grinding in the AM, where we go into length about the Brazilian election for the president, Lula Bolsonaro, from somebody that was on the ground in Pasta Jardula. And Pasta knows it's not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. And we're trying to do the right thing over here. So guys, I love you. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you all on the flip side.